Hey everyone, welcome back to Data and Donuts. My name's Aaron. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Daisy Segovia. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the day in the life of a research analyst. And before we get into our interview today, Daisy, will you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Daisy Segovia. I work as a senior research analyst. I've been doing that for about 6 years now at a community college. My background, though, however, is in forensic psychology, but I just kind of use my stats and research knowledge from that and my job now.
Awesome, awesome. It sounds like you bring a really good and diverse perspective to the job. And as we get into this, can you maybe tell us a little bit about what types of research projects you work on?
Sure. So mostly I was hired on to do a couple of like college initiatives. So I take a look at a lot of equity data at our college, making sure that students are, performing equivalent across all the student groups. And if not, I make sure that those areas are highlighted so the practitioners at our college can do something about it. I also take a look at some like AB 705 data, some strategic enrollment management projects here and there whenever I can. So just anything that the college has data on and how I can use that to kind of improve people's decision making at the college.
That's awesome. And so in your job, what type of computer applications do you frequently use?
Outlook and Zoom pretty much 24/7 now. Just kidding. We are to kind of pull the data out, we use this program called Argos, which is kind of SQL based, but it's like a point and click SQL kind of thing. SQL developer sometimes too when I need to get a little bit more complicated. For analysis, it's just Excel, SPSS mostly. I've been trying to get back into using R more. I was using that when I was in grad school, but I've kind of gotten a little bit rusty on it. So I'm trying to get those skills, up to par now, and maybe thinking about learning some Python. I don't know if I want to dive into that yet.
Awesome. No, that sounds like a lot of really good skills, and it almost sounds like as people coming up as researchers, some of the things they may want to be interested in learning and helping them advance their careers. And you mentioned earlier you're working on a variety of different, what would you say, projects, activities, and the like. So in
Mhm.
between your Zoom meetings, how do you manage your multiple projects?
Yeah, I think one of the things that, I really need to kind of talk to about with my supervisor, with my dean, is kind of talking about the priorities of what these projects mean. So, we're kind of a small office. We can get a lot of requests from people, but we kind of have to keep in mind what are our priorities? What is it that our office intends to do? Like, what is its mission? And are these projects meeting that mission in a sense? So there are, obviously things for compliance that are going to take precedent over some things, but otherwise, trying to time manage, trying to delegate things that you can delegate, bringing in others is always helpful because, I may be really good at a certain thing, but I know this other person is going to do it faster and better. And so why take up my time and their time when we can kind of work together, kind of things like that. But making sure you have that kind of priority list is important so that you don't let things that are important kind of fall through the cracks.
Most definitely. No, that's really good advice. And so you just alluded to working with others on projects. What
Mhm.
strategies would you recommend for working on team projects?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is communication, making sure you're all on the same level or thinking about the same thing, so one thing that I've learned coming from like an academic kind of background and going into this background is not everyone has like the same language for things, and especially when you're working with like the constituents in the college, they don't also have the same like language for how you say things. So like one of the like first like lessons I've learned is just like because I think a word means something doesn't mean somebody else thinks it means the same thing. So it's always like double checking that you're on the same level there and you're understanding things correctly. So it's like communicating, um, kind of assuring that you're on the same thinking about the same thing, and then just, I guess, working together, um, I kind of get like a good feel of other people's like personalities, I guess, or how they work. And I think I'm very kind of versatile in that I can customize myself, I guess, to work with other people. So if some people are better at working a certain way, I can kind of adjust. And if other people are better working another way, I can kind of adjust. And I think that's also kind of coming from a different area. Everyone kind of thinks the same when you're like in the same program and you're studying the same thing, and you can kind of get into a big group think kind of thing. So in this job, part of the thing I like it is that it's always keeping me on my toes. So when I do have to work with like faculty or with administrators, I have to be ready to explain something in like 5 different ways, just to make sure that like everyone's getting it. We're all, on the same page, and then we get the job done somehow. So I think that is really important to kind of get along with people. You want to make sure when you're working with someone, you're getting along, because I think that makes it easier to get the job done, and it's more fun that way. So I don't know if those are strategies, but that's kind of like what I do. Yeah.
Those are really good strategies. Those are strategies, approaches to things. No, I agree. Primarily with terminology used when you say the word enrollment, for example, a lot of the time someone may mean enrollment over time, over years, over terms, in classes, duplicated. There's so many ways to slice that term. And so that's really good. No, thank you for sharing that. And so we come to our bonus question. So we wouldn't call data and donuts without this question. So my first question, that's a bonus question, is what type of donuts do you like?
Yeah, so I actually like came from not liking donuts, and then recently I've started to like them. So one of the things that I've learned that I liked is I like cake donuts over like the other kind of like softer kind of donuts. So I don't really like Krispy Kreme because they don't really have cake donuts. And I guess I'm a little fancy because I like the donuts that like have like all these toppings on it, like a maple bacon, or like a matcha kind, or something that's just not like a regular donut. I'm paying for like $5 for my donuts, basically, is what I'm saying.
That's all good. Yeah, I've had those a few times. It's almost like a full-on meal with all the things that are on them. No,
Yeah.
those are delicious. And so going to our bonus question number 2, and the second part of the, or the first part of the name is data. So interact with a diverse population of people. Everybody speaks and uses different language, as you alluded to. And so someone may say data, someone says data, other people say data. What term do you use?
I use data. And maybe that's Star Trek influenced, I don't know. Um, but I kind of want to start saying data because I think that sounds fancier. I don't know.
It depends. And usually I just morph based on what someone says. So if someone's like, hey, can you give me some data? Then I'm like, sure, let me get you that data. And in my head, I'm like, data. No, perfect. But thank you for sharing. And thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me and to share with us a little bit of your experience and background. I think it's very helpful to help us build this community of practice. So thank you again. And everybody who's watching, thank you so much for watching today. And please hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you again later. Thank you so much.
Thanks.